So, you know what? The summer we know is going to be a decisive time for Rangers. We know that in this coming summer off season, Rangers will be looking to rebuild, retool, remodel this squad that really does need a lot of work. And Philippe Clement and Niels Coppen will be exceptionally busy and on the phone to each other an awful lot, methinks. Now, we know that it is pretty certain that Borna Barisic and John Lundstrom will be leaving the club at the end of the season. Out of contract, of course, we will not get anything for them. The only benefit will be that we free up a substantial amount of wages, as both are top wage earners at the club. Lundstrom, we know, was asking for around £30,000 to £35,000 a week, something that Rangers were not prepared to pay for an aging player. Barisic, I don't think was ever offered a new deal or even discussed a new deal. He certainly has been used very rarely by Philippe Clement in recent times. So those two will be heading off to Trabzonspor. I personally think this is a great move for both parties. In terms of both the players and Rangers. Borna Barisic, has been a great servant for the club in the past, but the last couple of seasons he has really struggled. Lundstrom is one of the most streakiest players I've ever seen, and just in recent weeks he has been absolutely awful. I mean, the last game, for instance, at St Mirren, his sideways passing, his slowing down of the play was dreadful. The sooner he is gone, the better. Now, it has been reported today in a number of media sources that 3 other Rangers players have been told by the club that they are surplus to requirements. And I think there is varied reasons behind this. So the 3 players that are mentioned in this report, and this is reported by a number of sources, are Tom Lawrence, Ben Davies and Kieran Dowell. Now, I don't think there will be a lot of surprise at 2/3 of the names on that list. I mean, if you take, for example, Kieran Dowell, he's a player who has missed an awful lot of time. Dowell has only actually played 15 games for Rangers this season, scoring 3 goals and actually only made a start in 15% of our starting 11s. Dowell is someone, like I said, who has been out injured an awful lot, and I think that is something that is definitely going to count against him. Clement has spoken in the past about how he's at previous clubs had 95% availability within his playing staff. Dowell is someone who is persistently injured and always seems to be the knee or the ankle or something like that, meaning there must be some sort of weakness there. I mean, let's remember that he was signed on a free transfer. And he having come off the back of missing most of the season for Norwich with an ACL injury. Obviously, the bonus is that if we can get rid of Dowell, that any money for him would be a bonus, given the fact we paid nothing for him. It would be considered a profit. Now, Ben Davies, I think there's little surprise that Ben Davies is also on this list. Davies is someone who has been massively surplus to requirements this season, despite the fact that obviously he has missed a number of games through injury. Even when he has been available and on the bench, Philippe Clement has been very reticent to use him or play him this season. He has made only 12 appearances. Davies, it's felt, never really coped with Scottish football. He's not very good. He's not got the physical side of it. His heading is not great. He's not great in aerial challenges or something. As a defender in Scotland, you need to have a physicality and an aerial ability. That is sort of the way of attack for some of those teams that like to play that very physical style of football. Davies has arguably looked better in Europe, where the game is much more on the ground and much more or less physical than it is in the Scottish Premier League, something that may obviously attract clubs from across Europe and even from down the south of the border. The one issue, obviously, around Ben Davies is his current salary. Now, Davies is reportedly on £30,000 a week at Rangers. I very much doubt any English Premier League club is going to come in for a player who has badly underperformed in recent seasons. You're looking then at Championship clubs, and our Championship clubs going to be able to or want to pay 30 grand a week, given the new PSR restrictions south of the border. Europe, I suppose, could be an option, but again, any sort of fee for Davies would be useful. 2026, he is under contract too, so he has got a couple of years still to run on his deal. Now, as for Tom Lawrence, this was one that surprised me slightly. Now, I know that Lawrence has missed a number of games this season through injury. He's made 29 appearances this season, played in 33% of our starting 11s, scored 2 goals and registered 3 assists this season. Now, I know that, I know that Lawrence is someone that has been used in a variety of different positions. He's been used in the 10 role. He's been used in that midfield double pivot in front of the back four. He is a player that Clement does seem to like, but I think there are two frustrations here with Tom Lawrence. Number one is the amount of time that he spends on the treatment table, and even then he seems to come back and play, and then suddenly as he gets into form, he then gets injured again. Since he's come back from his recent injury, he has not been in the best of form, and he was particularly poor in that game at Ibrox against Celtic. Is that a game that's kind of helped Rangers to pass judgment on him? It could well be. The other obviously thing is that that Tom Lawrence is out of contract next summer. Now, we don't know whether or not he has been offered a new deal. He's turned it down, and the club want to send him out now because of the fact that Philippe Clement did say at a recent press conference that never again would players be allowed to run down their contracts and leave for nothing. And if it is that Lawrence had been offered a new deal, he's with him being out of contract the end of next season. Rangers may now want to sell him in this summer to regain some money for a player who has missed a large number of games. Look, it's all useful money at the end of the day. We don't know what the budget will be for Philippe Clement, but I hope that any extra money that he raises through player sales will be then added to whatever the board are making available for him. If you could recoup somewhere in the region of, say, 3 to 5 million for those three players. I know that may seem low, but you're not going to get a great deal of money for them. They're not exactly pulled up any trees in recent seasons. It is all extra money that can be added to Clement's summer war chest. Guys, let me know what you think of these reports. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. Obviously, please help us by smashing that sub. And always, please remember two things for me. Number one, smash that like. It helps beat that algorithm. And number two, we are the people.